And that's a
Now-
disappointment when you fuck a guy for over an hour and he just go.
Did anybody recognize you from film in the industry? They did? Okay. Well, I just come in. You gotta do what you gotta do.
You are such an advocate. One thing is what I love is I love seeing a lot of the beautiful women that's in the industry as sex advocates.
And I would set up crystals on their body based off of their chakra. And the crystals, what they do is if they sit long enough, they begin to like permeate through the body. They begin to expand through the body and they create a bridge.
I shot with John Q too. You know, John Q, you know, I'm the first big girl, but he did his side, you know, his side. Yeah. But
I would, and I have given my last time. I've given when I should have just watched. And it's not always about giving financially. It's giving your space and your time and your energy.
So that's kind of like a 50-50 answer, what I got. That wasn't really a yes or no answer.
I think I actually would, and this is of course the therapist in me, I would be asking them, like, tell me how this is celibacy for you.
So what's first there, Anna?
I shoot them just like I would be shooting a regular female. So you don't put the emphasis on that, so it makes it more consistent with the title of being transgender woman.
I have a good friend. She lives here in Atlanta. I met her on a porn set. She wrote a book called From Porn to the Pulpit. Now, I won't say she was like this super... Yeah, she's my best friend. She's my best friend. Her name is Danielle Williams McCord. She wrote an amazing book called From Porn to the Pulpit. She's been preaching for 10 years now, but I met her on a porn set.
In any business that you find yourself in. Because definitely for me, like, you know, creating a product to push to the consumer, and for me, everything was consumer driven. If they didn't want it, I'm not going to make it because I knew it.
Felt like if we kept our head a little below the sagebrush, that we would just be able to keep on going without any interference or anything like that. But you know, that's
like, dude, I'm sitting in like the dressing room, like just with all the 20-year-olds and 22-year-olds, 25-year-olds. I'm like, how old are you? Oh, I'm 25. I'm like, how old are you? I'm 23. And I'm like, dude, I'm 30.
Before I leave the house, I feel like the last look. You know, this is how I feel, this is what I'm thinking, you know. Now, when I get out and interact with other people, it's going to be what it is.
Right, okay.
Welcome to a podcast like no other. Get ready for insightful conversations, diverse perspectives, and a touch of inspiration. This is Ask Nyomi, Bridging the Gap podcast. Join your host, the dynamic Nyomi Banks, as she delves into the heart of various topics with a refreshing blend of curiosity and wisdom. Each week, tune in as Nyomi is joined by special guests who bring their unique stories and expertise to the table. It's a journey of discovery, learning, and growth. And let's not forget about the one and only dog pound Mike, adding his flavor and flair to the mix. Together, they make a dynamic duo you won't want to miss. From thought-provoking discussions to moments of laughter and joy, Ask Nyomi. Bridging the Gap podcast offers a space where great topics meet amazing guests. So, mark your calendars, set your reminders, and prepare to be entertained and enlightened. Join Nyomi Banks and Dog Pound Mike weekly for an unforgettable podcast experience. Get ready to bridge the gap, expand your horizons, and immerse yourself in the world of Ask Nyomi. Subscribe now and stay tuned for a podcast journey like no other.
Hey, my beautiful people, it's your girlie goddess Nyomi Banks here on another episode of Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast. Hey, my BTG crew, what's going on and what is going on, Dog Pound Mike? All right, so this week we're going to talk about love, sex, and relationship, cultural differences, why bridging the gap between them all, and teaching the world on sex, language, attitude, and spiritual uplifting. And today we are diving into a very crucial aspect of our lives, and it's all about balancing work in relationships with priorities, right? All right. So I actually received a message about this topic, so let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to get deep into this conversation, all right? It's your girl, D Goddess Nyomi Banks, here on the Season of Self-Love podcast. Nope, on Actually Every Bridget Got podcast, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast with Nyomi Banks, where every day is a chance to embrace self-discovery and personal growth. Join Nyomi on a transformative journey, streaming exclusively on Spotify and Breaker. With daily episodes from Monday through Friday, podcast is your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and self-love. Dive deep into engaging conversations about self-care, mindfulness, and personal development. Nyomi brings you expert insights, practical tips, and uplifting stories from thought leaders in the field. Embark on a journey of self-discovery and unlock the power of self-love. Mark your calendars and tune in to the Season of Self-Love podcast. Available every weekday on Spotify and Spreaker. Remember, it's time to prioritize yourself and embrace the beautiful season of self-love. Get inspired and join Nyomi Banks on the Season of Self-Love podcast.
All right, well, welcome back. It's your girl, D Goddess Nyomi Banks, here on Ask Nyomi Bridget the Gap podcast. Y'all know, see, I do too many things, right? Too many things. Well, today's topic is all about balancing work, relationship priorities. It's about finding that sweet spot where your professional life and your personal relationship harmoniously coexist. Well, earlier last week, I actually received a letter from a couple explaining that they were having some difficulties in their relationship because they both work, right? They both work. So I am going to read this letter to you, okay? All right, it says, Dear Nyomi, it says that we are having a very difficult time in balancing between our demanding work schedules and nurturing our relationship. And they also said that we fear that the lack of quality time together is straining our bond. So any advice on prioritizing our relationship amidst our busy lives? And would it be invaluable? It will be very invaluable to us. Warm regards, Jeremy and Laura. First of all, I want to say thank you, Jeremy and Laura, for just writing in. And this is a very common topic. It is, because I know I went through that many of times, just trying to balance my work schedule, especially when I was very active in the adult industry in working. Now that I'm independent, do things myself. It still get kind of like that, but I'm able to spend a little bit more time at home, right? So let's kick off things like this. The very common issue among us of successful relationship that I've had to share my struggles with, and that's balancing deadlines with date night, but not also is also developing balancing it all, me being a mother, me being in a relationship, and just making sure that my businesses are successful. And now that I am an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur with many things, podcasts and stuff like that, it's very difficult for me to be able to balance not only my love relationship, but also the relationship with raising a family with children and kids. For you, Dog Pound Mike, have that been difficulty for you working, having your business, your scheduling, and being able to work?
Yes, it is. I mean, basically, when you're dealing with, you have a family, you have kids, you have a relationship, your wife, you have your work and your business you need to do, putting everything together so everybody get enough time, get enough attention, get enough love, get enough intimacy. Everything is going it is a lot when you're busy. And like you just said, I know how busy you are with all your shows and just keeping keeping things afloat and making sure everybody is pretty much happy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I guess the one thing is that just reading Jeremy and Laura's letter, and like I said, I wrote some notes down earlier this week about this, and I was like, how am I going to, be able to share this with our audience, and how can we break this down? One thing is that I know for me, especially when I saw that I was busy, especially when I was full blown, in front of the camera, when I was working hard on building my brand. I spent a lot of time on the road, traveling the world. And so I knew that one thing that I did not want to worry about was my relationship. I remember telling my man then, it's like the last thing that I want to worry about is my relationship. So I want you to be there just to support me, not financially, but just emotionally, and understand what it is that I have to do in life. You know what I'm saying? Just understand the movement that I'm doing. And in that process, he did understand that. But what I did find out is that in that process of me working hard to try to get up my brand and do all those other things, he as well was doing the same thing. And we lost that connection between the both of us because we didn't know how to balance it. So what I used to do, because I wanted to learn from my last relationships, from my last marriage, I wanted to make sure that this relationship was totally different from that, and that I learned from that. And so it's certain things that I do, like I ask certain questions. So this is what I'm gonna do with you all, because there are 4 questions that we need to ask. We need to sit down and have those needed conversations. And we need to ask these 4 questions. So the first question that we need to ask is, how do you feel about the way our time together or our work obligations are currently balanced? All right. So what I want to do is I'm gonna ask that question again. And for all of my live listeners right now, I want you to just take a moment and listen to the question in hand. And I want you to be honest with me and say, well, you know what, Naomi, I don't know if I will even ask my person that question, my partner that question. You understand what I'm saying, Dr. Mike?
I do.
All right, so here go the question again. How do you feel about the way our time together and our work obligations are currently balanced? So basically asking is, how do you really think about do you think I spend more time working than being in our relationship, than working in our relationship time? So that's the ebonics. The ebonics said. So for you, Dog Pound Mike. Okay, so for me, when I ask that question, what answer that I'm looking back for? I'm looking back for an honest answer. This is where that honest communication comes in. I know a lot of times that we are in relationships and we try to be, what's the word? We try to be, well, we don't tell our truths. So we don't tell our truth because we want that other person to feel good. You know what I'm saying? Or
we try to please the other person.
Yeah, we try to please the other person, but not understanding that we are not living and not communicating with each other well. So we cannot tell that other person what we really need in our life, because we're trying to, first of all, we're trying to assume what they need. Because remember, we're not sitting down, we're not talking about nothing. We're trying to assume what they need. But instead of sitting down and asking these questions, so say I'm with a millionaire or somebody that's working real hard and he buying me any and everything, but I'm not spending the time with him. I'm not spending the time with them. We're not giving the love, the understanding, that none of that. Now, so I'm getting ready to say this, but society would say, but girl, he working. What you worry about? He working, he paying the bill, he got you in this big old house, he doing that. Okay, but we're not spending no time together. We're not building this relationship here. So what is this? Y'all understand what I'm saying? What's this? So how can we balance this? How can we make to where after everything, the career is gone, the money, are we gonna like each other? Are we gonna love each other? Are we gonna be able to coexist with each other? Because when we in a relationship, we in that relationship to make sure that we in this relationship at least for a lifetime. I know I am, even though I've been divorced before, but in this relationship now, I want to be in this relationship for the rest of my life. And so intent, I want it to be different. Does that make sense to y'all? I mean, can you hear that?
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, going back to me, you said she was a millionaire. We good, man. What you about me? We good. No, honestly though, I mean, I understand what you're saying. That just even looking at the question again, I guess sometimes when we get in our work obligations, we get so involved with them because we feel. I know myself. We feel our work obligation
is more important than.
I wouldn't say important. It's just more of a. It's more okay. Being a provider is not more important than relationship, but it is very, very still a big part of it because you got to be happy with everything, things that you have in the home, being able to provide and do things and care for people, take care of kids, take care of cars, take care of the house, take care of wife, do these things. So sometimes you get caught up in that work obligation,
right?
Feeling that, okay, the family should be happy because I'm taking care of everything at home.
Right.
And it's just not for men, it's for women. There's some women out there I know that take care of everything in the house.
Right.
So we take care of everything in the
outside,
house.
Yeah.
Everything should be good in the house.
Right.
And the balance is we're not taking care of some of those intimacies and love things inside the home.
Right. Right. All right. So let's go to the next question. Are there any particular methods that we can help one another to keep a good balance between our personal and professional lives? So, okay, pause that, please. So for this, I'm going to repeat the question again. Are there any particular methods that we can help one another to keep a good balance between ourselves, a professional life? Basically, what can we do to kind of balance what we're doing to make sure that we're spending time with one another? That we make sure that we maintaining our balance with our personal and our professional, that we allow the time for our professional and then for personal. For me, I learned now is that I work Monday through Friday, but it took me a long time to get here. It took me a long time to get here because I was working 7 days a week. When you work for yourself, it feels like you're working 24 hours a day, 48, 7 days a week, eight days a week.
Right.
It ain't even 8 days in a week, but you work so much that you tend to lose any connection that's with family. So now I had to put myself, okay, I'm working from Monday through Friday, Monday through Friday. And then I'm taking the summers off. And speaking of the summers off, we only got 2 more episodes left for this season of Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap podcast because I will be taking the summer off with my baby so I can make sure that I'm spending time with her during the summer months. And then as soon as she go back to school, then I'm right back in front of this camera, doing it. But I had to do that so I can be able to balance that because I learned from my first 2. When I say I worked all the time, I worked all the time. And so there were some things that I can be honest that I've missed some things. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, and that's just being a mother. Now, when we go into the relationship, the thing is that me and my man, we're business partners as well. So it's like, how can we put the phone down, put the notes down, put the business to a side and just focus on us? It was so bad that we will be on vacation, shooting content, shooting stuff, making notes of things, like always. And then it was like, I remember one vacation that we went with our good friends to Puerto Rico. And I left everything behind. I didn't bring no makeup. To look real fancy or pretty. I think I just brought some eyeliner and a little blush, but I wasn't like full blown. I bought some cute outfits, but my thing is that I did not want to do anything. I didn't want to work. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to enjoy my man. I just wanted to enjoy my people. And I can tell you what I say. I want to just eat, eat, and drink. That's it. Oh, and sleep. But that's what I wanted to do. But I had to create that balance with him and I and say, okay, we need to do this. We need to take a day out for date night. At least go out once a month. Those are things that we had to make sure that we had to do. Okay, on this night, on Friday nights, we're going to do movie night with us, like that. And so, but we had to do that to make sure that we were maintaining our relationship, not only as lovers, but also as friends, and also respecting each other, balance of allowing us to work, but also being together. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, it does. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the next question that you ask within that relationship is, how do you think we can maintain our relationship in spite of our hectic schedules by setting limits and spending quality time together? Like I said, sometimes you have to, so let me say this too. I'm gonna go to number 4. Are our priorities still the same? So I'm gonna do 3 and 4 together. Sometimes when you are in a relationship, and you've been in that relationship so long, and I'm just being very honest, sometimes our priorities do change. Sometimes they are not the same as they was when coming into the relationship. But this again is where you need to sit down and have those strong conversations, those real conversations with that partner of yours. Like Jeremy and Sarah, sit down and see, do we still have the same priorities? Do we still have the same goals? And if you do have any new goals, what are those new goals? Are those new goals still aligned with the goals that I want? Or my new goals are still aligned with the goals that you want? You understand? As we get older, we start to learn different things about ourselves, what we accept more, especially when we really learning ourselves and falling in love with ourselves and understanding what we really want and being in our authentic self. Sometimes that doesn't align with the relationship that you were in 10 years ago. Does that make sense? To where it is now. But that is where you sit down and you have these conversations. Are they still aligned? Are we still good? I know we said I was going to go here. That was about 5-10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Is it the same? And if it's not, do you think we can work it to where we find an even balance of it? Does that make sense?
Oh, I understand that, yeah. Because as time goes on, things change. I mean, your energy change, your perspective change. Where you work and how you work may change.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And sometimes you go from this job to this job. Sometimes you go from this business to this business.
Yeah.
So that changes things.
Yeah, and I only can speak for me. I only can speak for me right now. And this, because I know for me, with every business that I've had and I created and I built from the ground up, my priorities change. My priorities change business-wise, and my priority, unfortunately, change personal-wise, both for the good and the bad. And I think just throughout me just growing and really finding out who I am, I've been able to know what my limits are, when it comes to in my different relationships, whether it's work. I learned how to say no. You know what I'm saying? I know I learned how to do a lot of those things to make sure that those relationships that mean to me, that they're still intact. That's even with friends. There was a time, probably last year, a year before last, that I took a break away from everybody, that I did not come outside at all, that I kind of stayed in and kind of worked on my spirituality, worked on building my businesses to make sure that I was aligned with everything and with my family. And I just recently did a tea party here at my home for, my good girlfriends that actually was very respectful of me not being able to be in their space, or when they invited me somewhere, I politely say, no, I'm working on something. So they was pretty, cool with me, was like, okay, we understand, Nyomi, we understand everything that you're going through. And so you need that, that group of people around you that's going to understand and allow you to have your time for your growth, for your business or whatever, and still be that supportive person. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and then we come back. We're going to go a little bit more into this topic, all right? It's your girl, D Goddess Nyomi Banks here on Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast. We'll be right back.
Washington Wellness Institute focuses on healing always. For me, if I look good, then I feel good. If I feel good, then I share the good. If I share the good, then I celebrate the good. If I celebrate the good, then I live the good. So I can be paid to be my greatest. But I have to learn the good to be the good.
So, What does it take to be the greatest? It's as simple as a free 15-minute consultation. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
Get ready for an exciting month of inspiration and empowerment on Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap. Join us every Thursday at 6 p.m. live on AskNaomi.com or dive into the conversation on Naomi's World YouTube channel. Mark your calendars for May 23rd as we welcome fitness instructor, nutritionist, and owner of Phoenix Tribe Fitness, Marcy Scott, who has transformed her life and is here to guide you towards healthier living and healing. And wrapping up the month on May 30th, don't miss our special guest, a neuroscientist turned adult content creator and fishing influencer, Isla Moon, bringing a unique perspective to the conversation. Tune in all month long for these incredible guests and more, only on Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap. Let's bridge the gap together.
All right, well, welcome back. It's your girl, Goddess Naomi Banks here on Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap podcast. And today we're talking about balancing work and relationship priorities. And in this one, it's a challenge of balancing work and priorities in this segment. So you see, many of us face challenges of being present in our partners while meeting professional demands. You see, work can stress and spill over into our personal lives, affecting our relationships. So the key here is communication. And it's very crucial for partners to understand and support each other's professional lives while ensuring that their emotional needs are also met. So actually, I got some effective ways to communicate with your partner and your family and your colleagues about your work-life balance and needs, all right? As well as your priorities. All right, so number one is to be open and honest. To be open and honest. Start by being open and honest about your thoughts and your feelings and your needs regarding work-life balance. Clearly communicate your priorities, your boundaries, the challenges that you may be facing in achieving a balance. It's all about being honest. 2 is active listening. Practice active listening when engaging in conversations about work-life balance with partners, your family, and your colleagues, and give them the opportunity to express their thoughts and their concerns and show empathy and understanding towards that person's needs and that person's perspectives. There's a lot of times that we don't understand how others can, when we say that we get ready to, we want some change in life. Let me say, because I'm about to get messed up with my word, that we can't do this or whatever. And just because we say that, we can't assume that person is going to be accepted of our change.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And I want to share this story, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for this. I'm gonna wait for this story. But we need to understand that many people change. Many priorities change. And it's good to be open to their change, but then we have to understand that it must not be for them. Does that make sense?
The change might not be for that person making them or the other person in a relationship.
The other person in a relationship.
Okay, yeah.
So say that when you being a listener and you're listening to the conversation and you being empathetic to their needs. Okay. For us, and I all I can say is because I've been guilty of this once before. I've been guilty that just because I probably express my needs or my desires or what I want, I automatically thought that just because I expressed that those needs were going to be met. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? And even though in the conversation or even in the action, it was not shown to me, I still had to understand, okay, there's something that I have to do to be okay with that. Meaning that either I'm going to be along with this or not. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 And that goes to the next. Set clear expectations. Clearly define your expectation regarding your availability, your schedules, and your commitments, and discuss how you can support each other in maintaining a healthy work-life balance and address any potential conflicts proactively in a positive way. That's what that means. And also seek feedback. Encourage feedback from your partner, family, and colleagues on how they perceive your work life, your balance, on how it is and how it impacts them. This can help you to understand their perspectives better and make necessary adjustment to improving communication and harmony. All right. All right, here go another one. Collaborate on solutions. Work together with your partner and family colleagues to find mutual solutions that are benefit for everyone involved. Be willing to compromise and make adjustments to your routines or schedules to accommodate needs and to prioritize all of parties. Okay, let's pause right there. Let's pause right there. All right, so let me ask you this question. Talk about Mike.
Yep.
This last one about the compromise and make adjustments to your routines or schedules to accommodate the needs and priorities of all parties. Do you agree with that one?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do. And the reason because you get caught up into that situation. You get caught up into just working, feel that you're doing everything that you need. We can do a date night. We can, provide for the family and do this, do that. But you really need to ask that person what have that conversation to what each other needs are as time goes on. Relationship, they last 10, 20, 30 years.
Right.
And after that 5-year point, after that 10-year, things change. You change as a man. You change as a woman. I change as a man. People change here and there. So I think these conversations need to regularly come up as well.
Yeah.
The whole thing with work situations. I have been fortunate to have a job for over 30 years. Then I still have businesses along with those jobs.
Right.
So the full-time job, it changes too. And then the businesses change. So my life is constantly changing.
Right.
So the household, and in that time period, I had a child, got remarried, so everything is kind of going all at one time.
Right. Yeah.
So if that community, that like you say, if that check-in is not there, then something's going to get lost.
Right. And I like that you said, even with the number 6 is the regular check-ins, schedule regular check-ins and discuss on how you are maintaining your life balance and address any issues that may arise. As you said, life changes. Life changes, and what we say, life be lifening.
Be life.
Life be lifening. So what was 5 years, 10 years ago is not the same anymore. Right. So it's like, let's check in and see where each other at that moment in that time. What can we do to make this better? How can we fit maybe a 10-minute, and this is me, a 10, 15-minute freak session, somewhere, somehow. You know what I'm saying? Where it used to be, where freely that you're able to do things, now it's not. So how can we still keep that in there? That's my thing. How can we still keep that little freak moment in there? And I'm just being honest. Like, how can we do that? How can we spend an extra hour or two, with your kids, especially on the weekdays and not just a weekend parent. Sometimes we can live in your family and still be a weekend parent. And what I mean by that is just really spending quality time with that child and not just with homework and yelling at them. And I'm talking about myself, just like the time when you do, working on homework and yelling at them, but also just sitting there and able to work on projects or whatever that they want to do, or have a movie night or whatever it is. That's one thing that I love, that blessing about me now being at home and not being so active in the industry, But being my own, my own boss here, entrepreneur, it does give me a little bit more time with my child now, to where I'm kind of like, okay, you don't have to do so much right now. So, kind of broad. And that comes out with me balancing myself, with balancing myself and knowing what my limitations are on everything. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, that is good having that time. One thing that I want to share with you is that, I mean, I used to work out of town.
Mhm.
And then I work in, and I used to be there for 3-4 days, then I come home. And being away from my little one was hard.
Mhm.
So then once I got, back and transferred, I'm in the same town. One of my favorite times is picking them up from school.
Mhm.
And picking them up from school, that conversation is, that conversation with the little one is so good. So especially after school, because you learn what happened in
Right.
school, you learn the drama in the school, you know a teacher is pregnant, they know so much stuff. And that is one of the best parts of the day.
Yeah.
That little time there, just picking them up from school.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so let's do this. Let's take a quick break. And when we're going to open up the lines. We're going to open up the phone lines. If you guys have got any questions or concerns or anything like that, I want you guys to hit us up at 626-605-2756. That is 626-605-2756. It's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks here on Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast. We'll be right back.
Get ready for an exciting month of inspiration and empowerment on Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap. Join us every Thursday at 6 p.m. live on AskNaomi.com or dive into the conversation on Naomi's World YouTube channel. Mark your calendars for May 23rd as we welcome fitness instructor, nutritionist, and owner of Phoenix Tribe Fitness, Marcy Scott, who has transformed her life and is here to guide you towards healthier living and healing. And wrapping up the month on May 30th, don't miss our special guest, a neuroscientist turned adult content creator and fishing influencer, Isla Moon, bringing a unique perspective to the conversation. Tune in all month long for these incredible guests and more, only on Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap. Let's bridge the gap together.
Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast with Naomi Banks, where every day is a chance to embrace self-discovery and personal growth. Join Naomi on a transformative journey, streaming exclusively on Spotify and Breaker. With daily episodes from Monday through Friday, podcast is your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and self-love. Dive deep into engaging conversations about self-care, mindfulness, and personal development. Naomi brings you expert insights, practical tips, and uplifting stories from thought leaders in the field. Embark on a journey of self-discovery and unlock the power of self-love. Mark your calendars and tune in to the Season of Self-Love podcast, available every weekday on Spotify and Spreaker. Remember, it's time to prioritize yourself and embrace the beautiful season of self-love. Get inspired and join Naomi Banks on the Season of Self-Love podcast.
Washington Wellness Institute focuses on healing always. For me, if I look good, then I feel good. If I feel good, then I share the good. If I share the good, then I celebrate the good. If I celebrate the good, then I live the good. So I can be paid to be my greatest. But I have to learn the good to be the good.
So, what does it take to be the greatest? It's as simple as a free 15-minute consultation. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
All right, well, welcome back. It's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks here on the Season of Self on Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast.
There you go. You do
Yes.
it so much.
All right, so let me tell you this. Yes, I am, because I do the Season of Self-Love every morning. Every morning. So that is like on the top of my dome on every aspect of it. And I only do Ask Naomi on Thursdays. So I'm like Season of Self-Love, and literally the commercial just came up. So I don't know if that's to tell me, y'all make sure y'all tune in every morning, Monday through Friday at the Season of Self-Love podcast.
That's a plug. Yeah, I hear you. That's a plug.
All right, beautiful people, again, welcome back. I'm your girl, the Goddess Nyomi Banks here on Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap podcast. And today we're talking about balancing work and relationship priorities. And in the first two segments, we kind of broke it down more about communication with that. And now we're going to talk about strategies for achieving balance. And I know we open up the lines, but give us a call. Again, the number is 605-276-5656. That's 626-605-2756. I still don't know the number by heart, so I'm reading the number on the board right there. All right, so let's talk solutions. Let's talk solution. Prioritizing is essential, and it might mean scheduling date nights and diligently as you are do meetings. Time management is your friend here, and also setting clear boundaries between work and home life can prevent one from overshadowing the other. So remember, it's not just the quantity of time you spend, but it's all about the quality that counts. All about the quality that's count. All right, so real quick, I'm going to give you 4 strategies on how to balance between work and relationships. And y'all know how I do it. Usually I do a lot of research on a lot of things, and I also take my own personal stuff in there. So here we go. Establishing boundaries is number 1. Set clear boundaries between your work life and your personal life. Designate specific times for work and quality times for your relationship, and avoid bringing work-related stress or distractions into your personal time. Yes. For me, that had been very hard, is because my man is my business partner. Especially when I do have ideas, I will, spring it on him. Now I have booked that I will write those notes down and have them there to when we have time. So if it's late at night, like my mind is always going. So late at night, instead of me interrupting what we doing, I just jot it down in my book that I got next to my bed, jot it down in my book. And then when we have what I call a working breakfast, I call a working breakfast, and we'll talk then, because we do have, it used to blend. Our work and our personal relationship used to blend so much that we didn't know if who we were in that moment, meaning who we were in this relationship to one another, because it will spill over. We traveled together, we did a lot of things together, so it kind of spilled over. And so for me being able to say, okay, look, let's kind of sit down. I did those check-ins. I did those, are we still aligned in what we want in life? Are we still prioritizing each other? Is this more important than what we got going on here? It's like when we first got together, it was all about us being friends in a relationship. And we said the last thing that we're going to worry about is our relationship, because that was, we were locked into that. Now that we see that we having a lack of communication stuff, now it's time for us to sit down and reevaluate this and how we're going to do it. Is that more important than what we got right here? How can we figure this out? How can we set up a time to stop that? Okay, maybe you don't work overtime, this week, because we need to spend time here. And that's something that you have to be honest with your partner with when having this. And I know some like, money hard. I understand that money is hard, but then them divorce is hard too. Shit, I know. I've been there. Communication. Communicate openly and honestly with your partner, your family, and your colleagues about your commitments and your priorities, your expectations and schedules, or any challenges that may arise, to ensure the understanding and support from all parties involved. Yes. Make sure of that. All right, but also make sure, and this is something that I speak about a lot of times on the season of self-love, is prioritizing your self-care. To make sure that your self-care is a priority by taking care of your physical, mental, and emotional being. So engaging in activities that help you to relax, recharge, and maintain a healthy balance. And this can include exercise, hobby, meditation. That is my thing. And simply spending quality time with loved ones. My thing is spending time outside in the backyard. If you see, I am now in my summer gear. I am now in my summer gear. So yes, you said, Naomi, you look like you just came from Hawaii or a resort or something. Or Oasis, I sure did. And right after this, I'm going right back out to my Oasis and just enjoying life. That's one thing that I said that I was going to do in this next book. And that's my 50s and my 50 plus on. that I'm truly going to enjoy life, and I'm going to enjoy the time with the ones that I love and that love me back. And so, yes, having a successful business is very important to me, but also having these great relationships with these different individuals in my life is just as important as this career, as this business. Because when I'm sick and dead, not dead. Well, when I'm sick or whatever, and I'm too old to do any of these things, I still have the connection. I still want the connection with these loved ones to be able to spend time with them. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
All right. And time management. Use effective time management techniques to optimize your schedules and prioritize tasks based on importance and urgency. So delegate responsibilities when possible and learn to say no to commitments that may overwhelm your work-life balance, your personal life, and utilize the tools such as a calendar to do this, time blocking, allocating such and such stuff. So for me, that's something that I've been saying no to some things that are no longer align in what I want to do in my personal life as well as business life. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Have it been hard to say no? Yeah, it has. A little bit. It has. It has. But when I look at it, like I'm not supposed to be there anyway. And then when I hear what happened when I wasn't there, like, yeah, I missed a good, like, that was God. That was the universe saying, nope, you ain't supposed to be there. So I'm pretty good with the saying no, but in the moment, the no, I kind of feel guilty. What about you? How do you do with your no's? Are you pretty, stern on, like, yes, I said no, that's good, or do you feel bad about them no's?
No, I feel pretty good about it. Yeah, I mean, lately, past 5-10 years, I've been pretty good with no's and prioritizing family first.
Mm-hmm.
Family first. I guess sometimes I get caught up in family first, and sometimes working. Sometimes in my head, like, okay, I got to work to take care of family. But then I can say no to a lot of other outside things, like
Right.
guys at the job, come on, let's go here, let's go kick it here, let's go here to casino or something like that. That's an easy no for me, because I know how busy my schedule is.
Yeah.
My busy schedule at work, my busy business, and my family.
Right.
Which is very busy too, because everybody in the household is doing something.
Right.
So yeah, my no's have got a little firm. I understand that. I understand as my life goes on, there's certain things you have to give up and sacrifice.
Right. Well, you know what? Sometimes, let me say this, and I think we talked about this a few years ago, last year. One of the topics in hand is that sometimes you have to take time for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
What is that? Me day?
Ooh, me day.
A me day.
Mm-hmm.
Good boy, take you a me day.
You know what's hard about that me day though? We got to find a way to take a me day where after you take the me day, you ain't feeling selfish that you took that me day. That you ain't feel like, oh, I took a me day and this didn't happen, or I spent this money that could have went on this, and that's the thing that I have to do to help me out to take that me day.
Take that me day.
For real. Wait, this is the end of the show right now. me finna go somewhere.
After this show, you can go take your me day. All right, y'all. Again, the lines are open. Give us a call at 626-605-2756. That's 626-605-2756. Do we got any callers?
Yes, we do.
All right.
Hello again, Nyomi Banks and Dogpile Mike. How are you both doing tonight?
We will. How's it going, Joseph?
Doing all right. And please don't think I'm trying to jinx your topic or anything, but I'm not sure if there's always possible for the married couple to balance both work and relationship priorities together, mainly because of the fact Sometimes at work, either the wife is cheating on the husband or the husband is cheating on the wife.
Why did I know you was gonna say that? Why did I know you was gonna say that? Because last night before I went to bed, I was watching the Ashley Madison documentary, right? And y'all know what the Ashley Madison documentary is about. It's about the website is a whole website that actually have where married people are cheating, right? You've heard of that, Joseph?
I'm not sure if I've seen it, but I think I might have heard of it. But I'm just concerned maybe it would be better to balance with work first and then try and figure out how to make the relationship work before it leads to like hell on earth, like the wife getting jealous and like do some crazy that could get her thrown in jail, or the husband doing something crazy that could end up throwing him in jail.
Okay, Joseph. Woo.
And before I sign off, if it's all right with you, I like to give a happy birthday shout out to my beloved and beautiful 2022 Hall of Fame goddess, India Morel, wherever she may be, because tomorrow's her birthday, and I want to hopefully give a birthday shout out to her tonight, even if I don't hear from her.
Okay. Well, happy birthday, India. Happy birthday, beautiful. Well, thank you for calling in, Joseph, okay?
You're welcome.
All right, you have a good one. All right, it's your girl, D Goddess,
You
Naomi
too.
Banks here
Good night.
on Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap podcast. Give us a call at 626-605-2756. All right, do we got some more callers? Well, hey, Rockhart, how's it going?
Hey, what's happening? How you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's crazy you doing this episode because that's exactly what I took time and did today. Exactly like a self-care day, which was well needed. Like, well needed. It's crazy. Everything happened for a reason. Like today, I took the time off, hung out with my dad earlier. Even went to the doctors and chatting with the doctors too. I was letting them know what was going on with me.
Right.
And once he listened to the symptoms, like summing up everything he said, he was like, you work a lot. Like you work a lot and you do a lot. You busy. You're a busy soul and you need to take a rest sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's like I just took the side, I'm gonna take time from work. I took a little bit of time from the gym too and just relaxed a little bit. Saw family members, saw some people I haven't got to see in a little while. So it's important.
It is. And just enjoy life. It's like we work so hard. We like on a continuous rat race to be this, I guess, first of all, it's for living, to make sure we making money so we can be able to live. But then it's not a healthy living if that's all we do is work. And, we don't take that time to do that self-care, for ourselves, whether it's with our own self or either having those relationships with others. So it's good that you were able to spend time with your father today and, and do, other things, because I now live in the moment. That is something that I speak a lot about on the Season of Self-Love. You should check that out. You should check it out. It ain't live, but you should check it out because there's a lot of things in there that we talk about, myself and Dr. Will, that we talk about with self-care, about understanding, by being in the moment, in mindfulness, about not feeling guilty, about taking that time for your mental, your physical, health-wise, because a lot of times when we do work, we put a lot of stress on ourselves, do just working like Dog Pound Mike said, he feel guilty sometimes when he, he's asked a question and he say, no, he don't want to go take that me time. And sometimes you need to take that me time. You have to, you have to, because this world, It's too many things that's going on mentally, emotionally, and spiritually that's happening that you have to like, step away from it and say, okay, let me live in this moment right now, and I deal with that tomorrow. I get back to work tomorrow, but I gotta take a mental break today.
Yeah.
So that's good that you did do that, and it's good to see you. I ain't seen you in a minute. It's good to see you.
Been working. I've been working. It's like my main goals right now is traveling and trying to buy a house. That's my two goals. Right. I want to buy a house and I want to travel. I want to get out of New York much as possible, get away from the drama, and
Yeah.
just see. Like I done messed around and made a second home in LA. Like going out to LA a few times trying to promote my brand and stuff. I made a second home out there. So that's been my priorities right now. And it's crazy you said you went to Puerto Rico, then you was like no content. I left everything home. And
Yeah.
a lot of people don't understand like when we go out of town, like yeah, it's good, it's dandy, but we working too.
Yeah.
It's
Mm-hmm.
not just vacation, it's we working. Like we out trying to promote our brand, we trying to we trying to get a name out there. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's like something. It's like you said. It's just a self care day. Just relax, kick back,
Yeah.
and just like for your loved ones.
Yeah.
I, last year, actually around this time too, because this job I'm at now is a year,
Mm.
and the job I had last year. I'm not gonna lie. To me, it was a straight up slave job. It was like 6 days a week, 10 hours.
Mm.
You getting mandated. And they had this thing, it's like a point system where they only gave you 10 points throughout the year to call in. And they only gave you like 40 hours of time. I'm like, yo, what can
Mm.
I do? What can I do with that? And I had a friend, it was a snowstorm. The final straw for me was I had a friend, it was a snowstorm and he drove into a ditch.
Mm.
It was to the point where he had a tow truck, had to pull his car out. He made it to work. No troopers still came to work. Showed drove into a ditch. They still penalized him for being late. I'm like, all right, yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Know my worth. But now it's like ever since I left that was a hard decision. But I made that decision. Now it's like I'm able to like do more in life in general. So
Right.
all money ain't good money. You got to say no sometimes.
Right.
Like
No.
it's like they quick to wave money at you, but it's like yeah, but for one, like, do you really get to enjoy that money because you're always working? It's like, do you get to see your loved ones?
Right.
It's like that very job. It's like I was hearing it too much. Divorce this, divorce that. I'm
Yeah.
always like, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
It
It's like
is.
I didn't want that for me. So it's like you got to move on, say no to certain money. It's like do what you got to do.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Rock. It's good to see you. Thank you again for all the support that you always, and I'm so glad that you took you and me day today. I'm so glad. Yeah. I'm so glad.
Everything
All
happened.
right.
I appreciate your topic.
All right. No problem, baby. Talk to you soon.
Okay, take you, Rock on.
That'd be
All
good,
right.
bro.
It's your girl, the Goddess Naomi Banks, here on Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap podcast. You know what? We have come to the end of the show. Yes, we have. I want to thank all of my listeners here and all of the viewers, live viewers, BTG crew. I see you all right there. As well as Dog Pound Mike. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Next week, y'all. Next week, we're going to have a very special guest is going to, be here with us. The beautiful nutritionist and fitness expert Marcy Scott, where she is going to share her amazing story with us on transformation and how she is now living a more healthier life, as well as training and teaching others to live a more healthier life as well. And as I spoke earlier, we just got 2 more episodes left for this season, and then I'm taking a nice little summer break, but then I will be back in September with more topics, more guests. We're elevating Ask Naomi just even more. So I am excited. I'm excited for the break that I'm doing. I got a lot of stuff that I'm doing during the break. But I thank y'all because the numbers are getting more and better. And we're just steady growing.
Yes, we are.
We're just steady growing. And again, if you got any love, sex, relationship, or even spiritual advice that you want to know, you can always email me at asknaomi@gmail.com, just as Jeremy and Sarah did. And as I always say, be good to one another in yourselves, and always keep it sexy. Have a good one. Hey, it's the goddess Naomi Banks, and I hope you enjoyed that last episode of Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap. And if you did, please like, subscribe, press that notification button, as well as comment. I'll see you next week. Keep it sexy.
Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap. This is where we talk about love, sex, relationships, cultural differences, and so much more.